Prime Minister Modi to lay foundation stone of permanent campus of IIM Sambalpur via video conferencing. Governor and Chief Minister of Odisha along with Union Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank to also attend. Nationwide dry run of COVID-19 vaccination begins today. Massive exercise to gauge India's preparedness for rolling out the COVID vaccine in 116 districts across 259 sites in all states and union territories. GST revenue collection for December 2020 records all-time high since implementation of GST. Over 1,15,000 crore gross GST revenue collected in December, which is 12% higher than GST revenues in same month last year. Flights between India and UK to be resumed from the 8th of January after being halted due to new COVID strain found in the UK. Operations till 23rd of January to be restricted to 15 flights per week each for carriers of the two countries. Manchester United beat Aston Villa, move level on points with Premier League leaders Liverpool. Both teams earned 33 points, but Liverpool leads on goal difference. Hello and welcome to this edition of the news. I'm Rukmaina. Top story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lay the foundation stone of the permanent campus of IIM Sambalpur today via video conferencing. Governor and Chief Minister of Odisha along with Union Ministers Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank, Dharmendra Pradhan and Pratap Chandra Sarangi will also be present on the occasion. The ceremony will be virtually attended by over 5,000 invitees, including officials, industry leaders, academicians and students, alumni and faculty of IIM Sambalpur. IIM Sambalpur is the first IIM to implement the idea of flipped classroom, where basic concepts are learnt in digital mode and experiential learning takes place in the class through live projects from the industry. The institute also outscored all other IIMs in terms of highest gender diversity, with 49% girl students in MBA 2019-21 batch and 43% in MBA 2020-22 batch. And our correspondent Arun Sharma joins us with more details. Arun, the Prime Minister to lay the foundation stone of IIM Sambalpur today. It's to be the permanent campus of this mega institute that has a very unique, we believe, education system, a new process of completing, of acquiring a degree.
Good morning, Rukma. Indeed, and the focus of the government has been, to increase the IITs and IIMs in our country. Now, if you look at this way, that in 2014 or till 2014, there were close to 13 IIMs when we talk about entire country. But today, the number of IIMs have increased to 20. And when we talk about the Sambalpur IIM, by April 2022. This Sambalpur IIM will be getting its permanent campus. Now, as of now, we know this fact that this IIM is being operational from Sambalpur University. Now, this is a temporary campus as far as this IIM is concerned. When we talk about the Sambalpur IIM, the unique idea or the specific idea or why this IIM is different, it is because it is adopting the flipped education or flipped technology. Now, this is in line with the national education policy as well, because the focus of the education policy is also on the technological aspect as to how can new technology or learning methods can be adopted, how can practical teaching sessions can be adopted for the students. So in a similar way, the Sambalpur IIM is catering education via this new flipped technology, where a digital mode of education is adopted. The students are being given knowledge and education via, a visual mode, digital mode, and by this flipped technology method, which is also, very much prevalent in various other countries or developed countries as well. Now, the idea of this new Sambalpur IIM campus is that this campus, primarily central government has given an aid of 400 crore rupees for this construction and completion of this Sambalpur IIM, and of course this will be green infrastructure in nature. That means all the aspect that completes the green infrastructure for any institution or building, all that will be there. That means this Sambalpur IIM will also be having solar energy in it as far as the green energy is concerned, and this will be completed by 2022. So yes, the focus of the government has been on strengthening the IIMs and IITs in our country, and that too in tier 2 town, tier 3 town, so that students can get education, higher education, and of course better technological driven education. That's what the focus is. And today is an important day because Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be laying the foundation stone for this new building or the permanent campus for the Sambalpur IIM.
Right, Arun. Well, you keep your eyes on that story. Thank you very much for joining us with those details. Moving on now, the country is holding a nationwide dry run for COVID-19 vaccination, a massive exercise in itself, which will tell us how prepared we are as a nation to carry out a vaccination drive which has no parallel in history. Meanwhile, India is getting close to completing its assessment by experts of 3 different vaccine candidates for emergency use authorization. A key meeting of subject expert committee was held on the matter till late last night. The SEC will send appropriate recommendations on its behalf to the Drug Controller General of India, which will take a final decision on the matter. The meeting is likely to continue today as well. Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, however, has said yesterday that a decision on the matter will be taken by experts soon. According to Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, dry run for COVID-19 vaccine is being conducted in all states and union territories today in 116 districts across 259 sites. And our correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya joins us with more on the phone line. Tapas, a mega vaccination inoculation dry run, can we say, to be launched today. Already the dry run has been completed in, let's say, 4 states so far as my information goes. Give us more details about how the dry run will be conducted. What are the kind of preparations that have been made? Who are the people who are going to be involved?
Right, so the national capital will also have a dry run from today onwards, and that's going to be another big factor considering the fact that Delhi has been battling the COVID crisis in the last few weeks, last few months. In fact, in the last few weeks only, its count has come down. Now, apparently 3 city hospitals will start with the vaccination dry run today, and the preparations are being done in that. So 3 particular places have been marked in a meeting with the Union Health Minister Harshvardhan. The hospitals have also said that they have completed all the formalities for the same. So in that sense, the dry run is basically it gives us an idea of how the particular vaccine drive will go on. Remember, India is in fact one of the biggest hubs of vaccination drive. Remember when the pulse polio program started, or for that matter, even for the pregnant woman, the vaccination drive that happens. So they generally cover most of it. So they have the system in place. The idea is to make sure that there is no leakage of those particular line of thought process of that vaccination drive, which require cold storage facilities at the same time. So from the cold storage facility to the hospital and then to the end of the vaccination drive where one has to give the vaccine, the whole process, the whole chain needs to be tested so as to make sure that there is no leakage, there is no point where there is a break of a chain. And when the vaccine does come to India or is provided to the health workers, the whole system is in place rather than at that particular time working in a jiffy. So the dry run is actually going to give the authorities, especially the 11 districts of Delhi, which they will be putting in place in all these 11 districts a system of checks where this particular vaccine drive will take place, and that's going to be a huge challenge, not just for Delhiites but also for the whole country, because the whole country is now going for the dry run. So this is going to be a huge challenge for the authorities, who are almost all geared up to face the same. Rukma.
Right, Tapas. Well, you keep your eyes on that story. Thank you very much for joining us with those inputs. A major indicator of India's economy being on the mend is goods and services tax collection, and the month of December 2020 has given reason to rejoice on the first day of the new year. Collections for the month gone by has been to the tune of 1,15,174 crores, which is at an all-time high ever since the new tax regime was brought into force.
With the arrival of New Year, a very good news has come on GST front. GST revenue collection for December 2020 has been recorded to be an all-time high since implementation of the goods and services tax in the country. The gross GST revenue collected on December 2020 is 1,15,174 crore rupees. The revenue collected is 12% higher than the GST revenues in the corresponding period last financial year. 87 lakh businessmen have filed their GST return, and the figure may increase in the days to come. There are three components of GST: IGST, CGST and SGST. CGST stands for Centre Share, SGST for State Share in GST revenue. In case if the sale of goods or services between the two states or interstate, IGST or Integrated GST is applicable. Revenue collected under IGST is divided between centre and states according to a fixed formula. The total revenue earned by central government and the state governments after regular settlement in the month of December 2020 is 44,641 crore rupees for CGST and 45,485 crore rupees for SGST. The most noticeable increase in GST was seen in import duty, which was 27%. Earlier, the highest GST collection was recorded in April 2019. It was 1,13,000 crore rupees. The record increase in GST collection could be possible due to combined effect of the rapid economic recovery post-pandemic and the nationwide drive against GST evaders and fake bills, along with many systemic changes introduced recently. This is the third month in a row in the current financial year after economy has been showing signs of recovery post-pandemic that the GST revenues have been more than rupees 1 lakh crore. The average growth in GST revenues during the last quarter has been 7.3% as compared to minus 8.2% during the second quarter and minus 41% during the first quarter of the financial year. If we look at state-wise GST collection, Tripura, Mizoram, Nagaland, Rajasthan, Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Odisha are top on the list, whereas a decrease in GST collection was seen in Jammu and Kashmir, Daman and Diu and Arunachal Pradesh. Bureau Report, DD News.
The cold wave continues to lash northern parts of the country. Although today, compared to yesterday, people in Delhi and NCR got some relief from the dense morning fog. According to the Met Department, temperatures are expected to rise by 3 to 5 degrees Celsius. According to the IMD forecast, minimum and maximum temperatures may increase in Delhi on January 3rd and 4th. The minimum is expected to be 6 degrees Celsius tomorrow and 8 degrees Celsius on January 4th. And however, the department has also forecast light rain in Delhi for today and tomorrow. According to this, the department has forecast thunderstorms in Delhi on January 4th as well. Rain or snowfall is also expected in the western Himalayan region between January 4th to the 6th. Heavy rain or snowfall has been predicted in Jammu and Kashmir. According to IMD, cold wave to continue in many parts of northwest India and central India. The same situation will prevail in Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, Delhi, western UP and North Rajasthan in the next 24 hours. And in an update, rain has begun of Delhi and the NCR region. Looking at some news on the pandemic situation in the country. According to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, nearly 5 states now contribute to 62% of total active COVID cases in the country. According to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Kerala, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal and Chhattisgarh are the states contributing to total active cases. And let's take a look at the COVID situation across worst affected states of the country. Kerala reported maximum number of new cases yesterday. 4,991 positive cases were reported yesterday. Besides, 5,111 patients were discharged, while 23 patients lost their lives in the past 24 hours. Tamil Nadu continues to show stable COVID numbers, with the daily case tally remaining below the 1,000 mark for the fourth day in a row. A total of 921 persons tested positive for the disease across the state yesterday. 13 deaths were reported, while 1,029 patients were discharged in the past 24 hours. In national capital Delhi, 585 new cases of infections were reported yesterday. 717 patients were cured and discharged, while 21 died in the past 24 hours. Currently, there are 5,358 active cases in the capital. Moving on now, Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri on Friday said that flights to and from the UK will resume in a graded manner January 8th onwards. Flights to and from the United Kingdom till January 23rd will be restricted to 15 flights per week for each carrier belonging to both India and the UK. The minister further added that these flights will only operate from New Delhi, Mumbai, Bengaluru and Hyderabad. Earlier, flights to and from the UK were suspended initially on December 21st due to the emergence of a new COVID-19 strain. And in some other news, the Rashtrapati Bhavan Museum complex will reopen for the general public from the 5th of January 2021 onwards. Entry passes will be provided through online booking from official websites of the President of India and Rashtrapati Sachivalay as earlier. A nominal registration charge of 50 rupees per visitor will be levied. The spot booking facility, which was previously available, is temporarily suspended. The museum will remain open all days except Mondays and government holidays. And coming to some international stories, US President Donald Trump's fellow Republicans in the US Senate on Friday overrode his veto for the first time in his nearly 4 years in office. They pushed through a bill on defense spending against his strong objections 20 days before he leaves office. Meeting in a rare New Year's Day session, senators voted 81-13 to secure two-thirds majority to override the veto with bipartisan support. The session also appeared to end a push by Democrats to increase COVID-19 relief checks from $600 to $2,000 sought by Trump. The $740 billion National Defense Authorization Act determines everything from number of ships bought to soldiers' pay and addresses geopolitical threats. Trump had refused to sign it into law as it did not repeal certain legal protections for social media platforms and included a provision stripping the names of Confederate generals from military bases. And let's now take an update on the COVID pandemic from across the world. As of now, more than 8.43 lakh coronavirus cases have been reported worldwide, with over 18,34,000 deaths. Over 5.96 lakh people have recovered from the virus. The United States continues to remain the worst hit country by the pandemic so far and has crossed the 2 crore mark. The US has reported over 2.6 lakh cases of the virus, with a death toll surging past 3,56,000. Brazil follows the United States in terms of death toll with 1,95,000 deaths. Britain reactivated emergency hospitals built at the start of the pandemic and shut primary schools in London on Friday to counter the rapid spread of a much more infectious variant of coronavirus. With over 50,000 new daily cases of COVID since the past 4 days, the health service has said that it is prepared for an anticipated rush of patients and needs more beds. The announcement comes just days after the Royal London Hospital issued an email message about being in a disaster medicine mode and unable to provide high standard critical care. With the capital one of the areas worst hit by the new COVID-19 variant, the UK government has decided to close all London primary schools, reversing a decision made just 2 days ago. Presently, Britain has a total of more than 25,42,000 COVID cases and a death toll surging past 74,000. France is imposing an earlier curfew in about 15 northeastern and southeastern departments to combat the spread of coronavirus starting at 6 p.m. today. The country has the highest COVID-19 cases count in Western Europe and the fifth in the world, with more than 26,39,000 in total. The death toll is over 64,600. France has already brought in 2 national lockdowns. The measures were eased in mid-December, but restaurants and bars are off limits till further notice, although January 20th was initially floated as a target date. Pharmaceutical company Pfizer and its partner BioNTech plan to offer COVID vaccines to volunteers who received a placebo in its COVID-19 vaccine trial by the 1st of March 2021. Meanwhile, U.S. Food and Drug Administration and a panel of its outside advisors have expressed concerns over Pfizer's plan, saying it could make it harder to continue collecting data on safety and effectiveness needed to win full FDA approval of the vaccine. In some sports news, victory over an excellent Aston Villa sent Manchester United level at the top of the table and onto Liverpool's shoulder. United beat Aston Villa 2-1 in a pulsating game at Old Trafford yesterday night. With this, both United and Liverpool now have 33 points. However, champions lead on goal difference. And here's a special story for you. Although the COVID pandemic has severely impacted most communities, the spirit of human connection, expression and upliftment through art remains stronger than ever. Pawan Sharma, who is a miniature artist from Surat, has utilized the lockdown in an optimistic way to create many kinds of products with carvings on betel nuts and leaves. The artist carves out various things on small betel nuts, such as images of Lord Ganesh, the glorious Ram Mandir, mighty Corona warriors, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, alphabets and much more.
मैंने लगभग 40 से 45 कार्विंग आर्ट बनाए हैं पीपल के पत्ते पे। उसके अंदर जैसे मोदी जी का बनाया मैंने, कोरोना वॉरियर्स है उनका बनाया, भारत का नक्शा बनाया, रतन टाटा जी जिन्होंने भी अच्छा खासा सहयोग देश के लिए दिया था तो उनकी भी मैंने तस्वीर बनाई थी। और भगवान की भी, राम मंदिर का जब जैसे चुकादा आया तो भगवान राम का मंदिर भी बनाया था मैंने। कृष्ण जन्म पे कृष्ण भगवान का ऐसे क्या जैसे जैसे जो फेस्टिवल आ रहे थे उस हिसाब से वो सब मैंने कार्विंग का सब काम करके हर समय को पसार किया था।
And that's all in this edition of the news. Namaskar.